Today we are starting the poem called Beyond Appearances. Let's dive right into it. Everyone can distinguish mercy from wrath, whether they are wise or ignorant or corrupt. But a mercy hidden in wrath, or wrath hidden in the heart of mercy, can only be recognized by one whose heart contains a spiritual touchstone. That's called Beyond Appearances. This poem is called The Garment. Hello, Riddle. When a person is busy, in earnest, they are unconscious of their pain. I mention this insensibility to pain so you may know how the body resembles a garment. Go, seek the one who wears it. Don't kiss a piece of cloth. And finally, let us read Unfold Your Wings. Just as staying home is easy for some, traveling comes easy to others. Each of us were made for some particular work, and the desire for that work has been placed in our hearts. How should hand and foot be set in motion without desire? If you see your desire leading toward heaven, unfold your wings to claim it. But if you see your desire bends to the earth, keep lamenting. The wise weep in the beginning, the foolish beat their heads at the end. Discern the end from the beginning, so that you may not be repenting when the day of reckoning arrives. What is the day of reckoning for posterity? It's death, when death comes. And who will be the ultimate judge? Our innermost self. Can we honestly look to the life we've lived and say, I've done a good job? Or is there always something more that we could have done to do a better one next time? Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Ruminations.